So in the run-up to 2020, if you're a Red vs. Blue fan, you're probably wondering, where is anything? Season 17 ended and I've heard nothing of Season 18. Not a tweet, not a video, not any sort of update. Don't ask if it's cancelled. Never ask if Red vs. Blue is cancelled. A website exists to answer that sole question. But finally, the mystique has been broken. A small teaser has been revealed showcasing the next season of the show. On January 14th, Rooster Teeth released a video showcasing all of the content they'll be producing throughout the year. The shows, the gameplay, the animation, and then there was Red vs. Blue. Firstly was the announcement of more PSAs, your friendly public service announcement. These are always fun, non to semi-canon skits to provide small bits of entertainment. But later in the video was a brief, very brief teaser of a scene from Season 18. Like I said, it was 3 seconds long, it was incredibly brief with no dialogue at all, just simple action. But this is the first look, first mention, first anything of the next season. Now it's hard to tell who these characters are, if they're new or if they're old. The blue soldier we get to see from the front definitely resembles Carolina. Her helmet kind of looks the same, and it would undoubtedly explain her physical capabilities that she is showing off, as this is something Carolina is capable of. But then the question would be, why does she look different? There's a purple-ish secondary color on her armor, which is the whole reason we don't know right now if this is in fact Carolina. I personally am not one of those people who know Halo well enough to identify each of the individual armor pieces by name. So it very well may be all of Carolina's armor, just with a secondary color added, or perhaps none of the armor is hers and this is a new character. I'm just saying, what if this is Carolina's long-lost sister that the series has never mentioned, and we finally get an answer as to whether or not she is North or South Carolina? You know, I'm just saying. But that's more of a jokey idea, not one I'm marrying to anytime soon, I hope not. And this other gentleman from the back, it's hard to see any distinctive features about him. Along with thinking the blue soldier is Carolina, others have speculated that this one may be Locust, though the reason as to why Locust would be fighting Carolina would be made especially weird by the fact that he's now sort of a pacifist. He doesn't kill, I guess he still fights. But I personally think any thoughts of this being Locust just don't hold any weight right now. This may just be a grunt soldier for whoever this is for the season to beat up. But based off of these 3 seconds, it's incredibly difficult to speculate anything about the season so far. We don't even know who's writing it as of the time of this recording. For those of you who are unaware, Jason Waite, who wrote last season, Season 17, is not the one writing this one. He made a post saying how he had no involvement in the production of this whatsoever, so if you hated the way Season 17 handled the characters and wrapped up the story, then I guess this is great. If you thought he did a good job and were excited to see what he would do next, it's probably very disappointing. Or if you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes or who writes the show, you're indifferent. I personally was not a fan of the whole Shizno Paradox arc, primarily from its conceptual design from introducing gods and time travel. It was all very confusing and overall hard to follow in the grand scheme of things. I thought Season 15 was okay, I thought Season 16 was terrible, but I thought Season 17 was pretty good, all things considered. For a story Jason didn't start, I was pleasantly surprised as to how he was capable of ending it. It seemed like he had a really good grasp on the individual characters, and he strove to develop some of them, Donut most of all. And while I cannot gauge everyone's opinion on his writing, from what I saw, it was primarily positive, so it makes it all the more interesting that he wasn't being brought back to write Season 18. I mean, even earlier in 2019, I went to RTX, Rooster Teeth's convention they hold, and I got to meet and talk to Jason, and while I didn't push him for answers or details about what the future held for Red vs. Blue, not that I think he could have or would have answered them anyway, but I did think he would be writing the next season because he was still pondering what was next. And when you're perpetually thinking about what's next for the franchise, it sort of implies you're not done with it. He wasn't like, oh, season's over, that's it, off to new horizons. You know, it seemed like his brain was flowing, trying to decide what's next, which character to focus on for the future, things like that. So I personally was really shocked to see that he didn't have any involvement. As for who's writing the season, it's not been announced yet. It could potentially be Bernie back in the saddle once more. He had recently taken a step back from being an on-screen talent to work more from behind the scenes and stuff. So who knows, maybe he has decided to once again take back the reins of his franchise. I don't know, it's speculation right now, but hopefully there'll be more announcements soon in regards to the next season. I'd imagine sometime close to or around RWBY Volume 7's finale. Rooster Teeth does have a cycle, so once one show ends, another begins. Definitely expect more news and update videos when more information gets announced or released for Red vs. Blue. So until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.